The experience of Elijah is beyond comprehension. The possibility of walking for 40 days and 40 nights in a state of fasting, thirst, weariness, dehydration and exhaustion from the heat. He needed something supernatural. He reached, with this strange nourishment provided by the angel, the Mount of God, Horeb. On the way there, he didn't care too much about the messages coming on the mobile phone. He reached that mount and he was already in a state of stillness and therefore workable upon. He was taught by God. One can see the difference between a soul taught by God and a soul well taught by himself. A self-sufficient, a self-satisfied, a complete person not able to learn from God. Indeed, he has many things to teach God. The starting point of learning is discipleship. Docibiles Dei has the word docile in it, taught by God. The soul that is docile, as the Latin root suggests, is a soul taught, and therefore the soul is learning, and therefore the soul is starting and going further. Many go through life not going further. They deflect. Why? They have enough. This can happen also in the supernatural level of faith itself. In the Cathedral of St. David in Cardiff, before the Welsh Mass, presided over by our retired bishop, I was talking to a person who was obviously taught by the Holy Spirit. He had been an Anglican. He was in Cambridge studying Oriental languages, and that means Hebrew and Arabic, very difficult at that level. He was a high Anglican, but the Spirit of God gave him the intuition that they were adoring a piece of bread. He drifted towards the Catholic Church, but that same Spirit of God seemed to gently nudge him to go in a very specific direction. He found continuity in the extraordinary form, and therefore applied to go to the Fraternity of St. Peter. He is now studying in Germany and is preparing for minor orders. Indeed, he has already received 2 of them. This is something which happens when there is a total availability. Among the concelebrants was a person ordained only a few days ago. He too was nudged by the Holy Spirit. He was an Anglican clergyman, and he received ordination to the sacred priesthood just recently, coming over with his Welsh culture, as did the other. But then one finds quite often, even amongst those raised up in the fullness of truth, there is a lack of any capacity whatsoever to let God directly teach, that are taught by the norm. And it is only when we have something of that Mount Horeb and that distance into the desert and that consequent stillness that God can directly teach. We are not taught by gadgets. We become gadgetized ourselves. We become digitalized souls, full of bleeps and jumps. Stillness is other, as God is totally other. And far more educative is the sacred host when gazed upon in the stillness of the night than any screen gazed at, bypassing God in the soul. For after all, the soul inhabited by the Blessed Trinity has the interior Master himself, God within. And that stillness would probably teach us many things if we provided the opportunity. Especially if we took seriously this 6th chapter of St. John. Why? It is the very essence of the Catholic Church. God in the midst. It is the greatest sacrament of all. And we ourselves are tabernacles. The tabernacle must reflect its inhabitant. Both soul and church building must be something of that Horeb. So we are responsible, whether we are or not docipiles Dei, teachable by God, or whether we are all a fidget and a buzz, crashing through time with never a pause to do what really mattered. Oh.